great resistance come great breakthroughs. Keep pushing. What's up? What it do? So fam, welcome back to my channel, K&M Witchery. I am Kat Nicoletta Monroe, for those of y'all who may not know, and this is your spiritual check-in. If you like my content, be sure to please hit that red button. We all love the red button, and like, and all of the other bells and whistles and stuff that YouTube offers. Let's dive right on in and see what messages my soul fam needs to hear. Card out, we have Justice. Page of Pentacles in reverse came out with it, but I was hesitant to pick it up, although I had noticed it. So let's talk about this. Justice with the Page of Pentacles in reverse tells me that there is hesitation in moving on up your journey, going to the next level, the next step. When Page of Pentacles is upright, it's very willing to get their hands dirty, to begin the very long journey. And this is something new that you may be embarking on, and how it is that you're going to personally resonate with this reading is going to be up to you. I'm going to keep the messages general as always. Remember, resonance is personal and it's a YouTube video. So if it doesn't, then just go. All right, anyways, jokes aside. Page of Pentacles in reverse is telling me that there is a lack desire to start, to get your hands dirty. Perhaps maybe you don't really know where and how to do it. It is more of an action-oriented feeling here in a sense. So it could very well be the opposite, that you know what you do, you have your plans, but then actually doing the follow-through of said plans is where there's deeper hesitation. So let's pull one more card here before I go back and talk about this Justice card. How else can we contribute to this conversation? Eight of Wands. It's time to create. It's time to actually do. Okay, Eight of Wands is something that can in fact come quick, but no manifestation will realize unless you decide. And I know that may sound quite condescending, even especially to those whom don't really quite believe in manifestation, but so much of the reason why things don't really come about is because you don't actually believe in them as wholeheartedly as manifestation requires you to. There is a big component to manifestation, and it comes down to your belief. What is it that you're choosing to focus on? Are you going to focus on the quote-unquote reality, which is really just a poor way of thinking about something negative and calling it what it is? Or are you allowing that reality to be something more positive, to be something that is accomplishable? That part's up to you. But with Eight of Wands here, especially it being such a nice, beautiful, artistic palette, tells me that you can literally create your future. You can create your manifestations in the directions that you're going to be headed in. This is the only contradiction. So, with everybody always wants change, right? We want something different. We want our lovers to treat us better, or our managers to respect us more. And yet, should they offer up any sort of resemblance to what it is that we want, based on these two examples, or like really any other, those are the most simple things that I could honestly think of. Should they actually give you even a fraction of what it is that you are hoping and wishing and asking for, you're going to be in disbelief about it. You're probably going to find a reason to second guess it. One of your first reactions might be, what's the catch? Is this even real? Like, what do you really want? It's so deep that whatever it is that you are chasing, soul fam, or perhaps maybe this is a past tense version of you there as well, is that you're in disbelief of the success, the respect, the love and appreciation, the wealth that you can actually obtain, or perhaps health. I heard health too. Some of y'all are on a health kick. And you know what it is that you got to do. You perhaps maybe have already planned out an entire, I don't know, gym schedule and diet plan, and yet actually showing up, driving up to the gym and picking up a couple dumbbells isn't occurring. It's not occurring. So you've planned it all out. You know this next level that can in fact be, and yet we stand still. So why are we standing still? Wow. The Four of Pentacles in reverse. Instability. Hold on. What type of instability? Let's get precise here, as precise as we can. The King of Pentacles in reverse. So it can very well be that you think that you literally can't afford this change, or that you won't succeed at all. The King of Pentacles is one that is incredibly stable, okay? They've built everything from the ground up. They know how much blood, sweat, and tears and money probably went into something, and yet you're at the very beginning stage of something. Remember, this is a page after all, okay? The disbelief here is that you will end up as a failure. And I want to tell you right now that failure is an illusion. It is. Because you haven't actually truly failed anything if you just keep on trying, you keep on doing, right? What you actually succeeded in doing is find out what doesn't work for you. You know, just because it also worked for someone else doesn't mean that you're going to replicate something, right? Like everyone always wants to sell the best next step to becoming a millionaire and do it my way and you're bound to succeed. And yet even that can only go right so many times. You have to find your own way, what it is that you are comfortable with in one form or a factor, right? You could only mimic and mirror so much of another person's success. And I guarantee, even if there was such a plan that's available and you guys are in school and all of that lovely stuff, until you actually start actioning the advice, the steps, and all of that, will you in fact be able to level up, right? Like this isn't an escalator. These are stairs. You got to actually move on up. With Justice here, it tells me that there is an urgency here. It's beyond an eagerness. It's, I'm hearing now or never. If you're tuning in and you're resonating, Spirit has or is about to offer you a really great opportunity for you to show up and show out the way that you've always envisioned yourself to. And you have full creative, co-creational abilities here with Spirit, with God, with whatever it is that you believe in, okay? But this right here needs to be turned upright. We must have faith in our actions, that every single step that we take, even though our legs may burn up these stairs, we've all been there huffing and heaving on a staircase, okay? As embarrassing as it may be, you keep going. You get to where it is that you're going, because turning back now would be silly, although always an option. And can you sit down on those steps? Yes. And I want to say that you've probably been sitting for too long because you're holding yourself back. The lack of instability that I had mentioned earlier is one that you may have with yourself, is one where you think that you perhaps are maybe incapable. Again, this is all screaming limiting belief to me, okay? And look, as cliche as it may be, the only one standing in your way is you. I'm incredibly uncomfortable often in my line of work, especially because I pull out so much of this information seemingly out of thin air or some paper and ink, okay? At the end of the day, though, things stick. On my other channel, Divine Connections, I literally just post up a video of like a mini event of me saying, I don't really know what I'm doing. I have different desires, different steps to take than most, and yet I have no idea how to do it just yet. And it wasn't until a couple of days later after posting that the answers kind of came to me. My next steps came to me, and it's just a matter of showing up and like doing it, right? So once I actually sat down and did it, I accomplished it. And I was like, oh shit, this is the direction that we're taking this right now. It all kind of makes more sense. I asked the question, and instead of sitting down and pondering more about it and creating all of these plans, I just pressed play and I just did it anyway. Even if the video prior, all I could do was get out a 6-7 minute vent. Sometimes that's just what it is. Now I'm just using, you know, like recording videos as an example, but like this could be towards anything. You get a new job, you're in a probationary period, you're also in a training period. You gotta learn the ropes, you gotta learn what to do, how to do it, and take your time to make those mistakes. I think as a collective, we've been so trained never to make mistakes and like never fail, and like failure's not an option, and like, perhaps that's exactly it. It's just not an option. It doesn't exist. You either do or you don't. I often say that the greatest quote-unquote failure, if there ever was one, was stagnation, choosing to never ever take risks. That's the one thing that you really hear most about when you read those stories of people perhaps at their deathbed. They look back on their lives and their regret is not doing more of those things, whether those things are spending time with family or traveling or all of these things that like are not at all that material, by the way. They're about experiences with loved ones, with people, pets, life, Mother Nature. It's so much less about what it is that, again, this collective has been trained to be, this mindset of like, always be on a grind and you have to have all of this money and like, you know, work till you drop, and then when you drop, then you retire. But that's also a huge if nowadays. I mean, who can really retire? And yet sometimes the poorest of them all is the most happy because they've really found the best in their situation and they allow themselves to live in it. And we can argue best case and worst case scenarios all day long, soul fam, and you can even conjure up the best plan, and still you will never know if it'll work out until you start doing it. Like, I started my YouTube journey 3 years ago. It was 2020, good old 2020. And within these years, I have started and restarted again, and I'm literally restarting it again. All of these times, I had no idea what I was doing. I was trying out all different types of readings. I did zodiac readings. I did everything. I did everything. And then I found how I'm going to do something, and yet still, as to my recent example, I posed the question, what am I doing and how am I doing it? There's always going to be a next stage, another level to something. But to keep sitting there and like, I think it's just too much planning. There's too much resistance. So if you push past that resistance, you show up anyway, you do the work, you get your hands dirty. Okay, the Page of Pentacles likes to get their hands dirty in something. They want to try things out. They want to play. They don't want to just learn how the clock works. They want to put it all together, you know, and like see how all of the pieces work one by one. It's like building a computer from scratch. Some of y'all are into that stuff. Can't relate, but hey, whatever, you know? And so when we really want to know the ins and outs of something, and yet we're unwilling to go through the ins and outs of everything, I personally would say that that's the real failure. So have your tantrums, admit you're uncomfortable, ask for help, inquire about feedback, but show up and do it anyways, okay? Even if your legs burn up, because this Justice card here, honestly, it tells me that it's now's your time. And are you going to keep letting these opportunities pass you by, thinking that there's going to be another one and another one, and maybe there will be. Maybe there will be many. But to sit here and wait and not even try only delays your succession later. Perhaps maybe you have to quote unquote fail and make mistakes another 5 steps before you see any true success and like return on your investment, time and energy. You're only delaying, the inevitable, which is you winning and you finding that stability that you really truly believe right now that you lack. Remember, this came out in reverse. Let's see what else we got here. Let's keep on pulling. I am using the Surrealist Tarot, by the way, for anyone who was curious about that. I typically link what decks I use down below, so if I ever forget to mention it, just give yourself a little scrollsies, okay? And while you're down there, be sure to check out my website, K&M Witchery, in case you'd ever want to book your own spiritual check-in with me and any other intuitive service. I am still working on my website, so it's a bit of a mess, but I do also offer hypnotherapy and NLP coaching as services. I am so excited to be meeting with more of y'all if you'd ever be interested. Card out, we have a Magician. I just heard so it shall be. What you put out there will come back, okay? Now I have a Patreon, and on this Patreon, I teach many things, one of which is in and around manifestation. Now I'm going to give you all the formula for manifestation. Are you ready? Cool. It's focus plus emotion plus action equals manifestation. So all three, focus, emotion, and action, must be aligned, must be equal to one another for that manifestation to occur. Now, the caveat on this is that you can feel an intensified emotion that may be different from the outcome and emotion that you may want to have. Meaning, say you are super scared, you're freaked out, okay? You're only going to manifest more things to be scared and freaked out about. This is why aligning your emotions is critical to obtaining the outcome emotionally that you wish to have. The same thing applies with your focus, and your focus is your belief. If you constantly believe that you're going to be met with brick walls and rejections, guess what you're gonna manifest more of? You got it. So regardless of what action steps we're taking, whether they're minimal, huge, or literally just sitting there, you're only going to keep manifesting more of that. So manifestation isn't sitting there and just like writing stuff down in a journal 50 times and like burning it and sending it out into the universe. No, it's actually allowing the human experience to take place. You are here to make these mistakes, to go through the motions and the emotions. You are a spirit having a human experience after all. Once the spirit leaves the body, it doesn't express the emotions like that. It can't do anything. Sure, we can talk about poltergeists and stuff, but even that only has a minimal impact on this human experience. It can't just pick up an entire deck and just flutter it around as a spirit. It doesn't quite happen like that. And this is coming from a medium, okay? So without the physical body, the human experience is literally nothing. That's why you've reincarnated in this vessel right here to action things, to do things, to feel things, to experience them and express them. And if we're just sitting there waiting for every opportunity to come back around, maybe what we're really doing is, well, just kind of wasting our human experience. Which again, I will say that would be, if there ever were a failure, it. And so the Magician comes out here to remind us that we are what we choose. And what's beautiful is using that same colored ink, you can create your path in your direction, and it can be as wonderful and as delusional as you desire it to be. And matter of fact, I'm going to tell you to be delusional. Be so delusional in your beliefs that you will prove yourself wrong, your ego wrong, and thus your spirit right. So many of y'all underestimate the power that you hold within you. I do that sometimes too. It's part of the human experience. Matter of fact, it's part of almost every single step or like level up you take, right? And when I'm talking about level ups, I want y'all to consider this as a form of ascension in one form or another, right? It's you taking the next step, whether it be in a relationship. You go from dating to, I don't know, moving in to engaged to marriage and blah, 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 blah. Same thing with like getting a job, right? You go through the application process first, then you go through the interview, then you go through the whole training process, then you go through the whole, like, you know, I don't know, maybe there's some rewards or something, and then you get a promotion out of that. Like, there's steps for a reason, one more advanced than the other, but one designed for the other every single time. So as humans, we also like to think that manifestation means that we go from here to here like this, which is false. We have to take the steps. We try to leap and then fall off and wonder why it didn't work out and then call it a failure and say we're never doing that again. Whoa, but you skipped like 3 steps. You refuse to do the do. And maybe that's where the hesitation is, because y'all realize that this requires work. This requires change on your part, right? Like, we can't just expect change. We have to create change. I love this deck. Page of Swords. And thus, we still continue to sit there and think about it. Think about it, think about it, research. I'm not ready. I have to learn something else. Oh my God. Guys, as humans, we dissociate so much. We detach from the human experience so much that we intellectualize everything. We intellectualize potential relationships, outcomes, arguments, jobs, but we don't actually do anything with it. It's those whom do what they set out to do that they become wonderful mentors, maybe successors in one form or another. It's the ones that show up and consistently work at what it is that they're doing, that they end up accomplishing things and oftentimes making it look so much easier. Sometimes it is uncomfortable, but we mustn't stop just because that's what the current experience is. Everything was uncomfortable in one form or fashion. Learning how to walk, wearing shoes even, something as simple as that. It took some getting used to. On average, it takes about 3 times, 3 to 5, depending the type of person that you're at. It takes 3 to 5 times. Keep channeling and can't get this word out. It takes 3 to 5 times for someone to consistently do something in order to become confident in it. 6 of Swords. It's time to honestly build a bridge, get over it, get onto the other side, do what it is that you're meant here to do, because visualizing can only go so far. Thinking about it and planning can only go so far. It's until you move this wonderful body and do the things that you gotta do. You connect, you action, you move. You do the do. Okay? Cool. I did hear my snaps just now, so I'm going to leave the speed. There is no extended because I'm exhausted. As much as I said, you know, sometimes people make things look so easy. Maybe this video was one of them, okay? Because it literally took me like 15 attempts to sit down today. I had a temper tantrum in the middle of it. I was like, oh my God. And once I finally got all of the emotions out, I got the realizations down, and I was like, holy crap, now I get it. The flow came. But it wasn't until I actually sat down and attempted it time and time again that this was finally able to get done. Simple, tiny example of a girl on YouTube sitting down in front of her iPhone. But hopefully it'll help motivate some of y'all, okay? Because this sort of thing can get replicated in many, many facets of our lives, and it does. And there's personal things that I go through as well that are so uncomfortable that I never speak about. And it always appears easier later to the external eyes, because they don't see the struggle. They don't see how much my legs burn going up these stairs. And yet I choose ascension every single damn time. Every single damn time. Because standing still is giving up on yourself. It's giving up on your life. And you are worthy of your success. Whatever success means to you. I certainly hope that success isn't something material. I hope that your why is grand. And it touches lives and it connects and it's out of love, because that will at least give you more of the motivation to keep on going. Maybe that's something to consider researching and thinking about and brainstorming. What's your why? What's your reason for showing up? And allow that to be your greatest motivator. And hopefully change a lot of those limiting beliefs. Now, if you guys do really want some unconscious-based healing and help in and around your limiting beliefs, again, please go ahead, click on my website, KNMWitchery.com, and let's connect. Let's talk about it. The initial consultation is absolutely free, or you could, of course, just book a intuitive reading with me and take it from there. However it is that you want to go with that information, do with it as you will. If not me, go to someone. I don't really care at this point. Just like do something. I love you guys. I really do. Thank you so much for being here today. Let me know if it helped, how it helped, or not, whatever you want. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye. Mwah.